The largest limiter that keeps us small in 2026 is the coping of training in a pedantic way. And what do I mean by this? Well, it's where lifters are overly focused on and even prioritizing smaller adjustments as if that could make or break their physique. And for most people, while they think it's productive, it can actually take away from their gains because they don't have an enjoyable system that they could effortlessly repeat and the consistency to actually progress well and get really strong. This is a mistake that I used to make pretty frequently, where I would major in the minors, meaning that I would overly obsess over smaller things when it comes to improving my progress. Even around 2 years into lifting, worrying about, oh, should I do barbell bench press? Or you know what, I'll switch it because you know what, I heard dumbbell press is much better. Or maybe machine chest press, yeah. You know, to try and quote unquote optimize my gains when I'm doing other things that actually slows down my progress, like staying up late most nights and getting less sleep, or having shit form when it comes to performing my exercise. You see how silly that sounds? It's mostly just cope, and I was worried about switching movements that basically do the exact same function, making it a big deal instead of just locking in consistently with the stuff that actually makes a significant impact. And with social media, people can easily fall into this trap of just making lifting more complicated than it really needs to be. It's like that bell curve meme you might see online, and as funny as it looks, it's such a big truth that I've understood, which has helped me make even more progress and enjoyed the journey, which is a win-win. While it's very tempting to keep following the newest gimmicks, I've seen it with myself and I've seen it with others where we keep trying to move on to, the newest best thing, trying to speed up and cut corners. And while attempting to do what someone might have told me is now the most optimal lift, internally I feel like, honestly, this isn't even that enjoyable, and I feel frustrated from all these options and suggestions. And this is exactly one of the ways that it slows us down, by breaking our consistency with the training just because you don't really like it, and your pure drive and motivation to actually push yourself as hard as you can and challenge yourself on your sets just starts fading. So now you're not even progressively overloading as much either. And you know what? The definition of optimal is just the best for a certain individual within the specific situation that they are in. So there's no most optimal split or exercises for muscle growth that works for absolutely everybody. It depends on their situation. And so training that spikes our cortisol or even makes us want to quit isn't very optimal for us now, is it? I would hear things like, oh, don't barbell bench press, bro, because switching to dumbbells, it's gonna give you more gains. Or something like that. Like, it's really not that deep because it's the same thing. If anything, it could be worse for me. Like, what if I dislike that exercise and my consistency and my progression drops? Then what? Like, I used to wake up in the morning jumping out of bed looking forward to increase my bench press and do some heavy ass curls to failure my first year or two into lifting. And that's what really kept me motivated to always stay consistent and made me want to push hard and progress. So most of the time, these small changes really aren't that deep. Are we really gonna sit here and discuss how doing curls, which is just bending the elbow, this certain way is better than doing it a different way? It's the exact same function. I just picked one curl variation that I like and I stuck with it, and guess what? I made great progress to my biceps. Enjoyability will keep you more consistent and help you progress. We can't keep coping over some theory or bro science anecdotal stuff because progress will always come with time as long as you're consistent. Like, just look how much better I look compared to 1 to 2 years ago. Not only is enjoying what you're doing to stay consistent in the gym important for muscle growth, but so is staying consistent with the actual exercises that you're doing. This is actually what will help you maximize your gains, because when you're constantly trying to move from one thing to another frequently or even every month, this is actually worse than just staying consistent with a select few exercises, not only just for the aspect of, you're more motivated to do them, but also making more gains requires a familiar and constant stimulus for real progressive overload, which comes from a consistent exercise selection and will give you more gains compared to just switching to something else every month. And who is to say you're always gonna make more gains swapping one exercise for another? Sometimes what you're doing already might work better, and most of the time it's mainly just copes that we would see online without any direct proof. You don't have to thug your way through the nonsense and become this Mr. Doing Everything Perfect. To be honest, that doesn't even exist. And we're trying to get jacked and stay jacked. So think about the future. You really want to be strong and healthy even when you're older, right? Enforcing discipline on these unsustainable systems and being overly pedantic when you don't have to is actually worse for your progress and doesn't support that journey. Because most likely your favorite influencer also has a consistent routine with the exercises they have repeated for many years, because the mechanisms and how things actually work will always stay the same, and training intense close to failure will always be the most important thing no matter whatever exercise anyone is doing. So constantly trying to move on to what you think is the newest best thing over and over on a weekly or even monthly basis is counterproductive. Don't get me wrong, bro, because I'm all in for improvement in the gym and progressing to do better exercises and checking out other refinements in nutrition and working on the minor things as well. We just don't want to be majoring in them, and always keep that general foundation of having good practices like great form, intense training, restful sleep, and a diet that supports recovery before thinking about social media telling you you're cooked if you're doing 15 reps instead of 10 reps. Like, it's actually laughable. I totally understand the want to improve relatively minor aspects of training as well, which can be a good thing because I do consider lifting to be a skill, so learning and improving is always a goal. And if you relate to that, subscribe, because that's what this channel is about. So now it's clear that yeah, doing things that you will enjoy will make our fitness journey more sustainable, which is great. I also want to add just a little bit of nuance here, because hey, we also want to optimize over time and improve our training without making things worse. And I don't want anyone to misunderstand my point either. Like, yeah, we're gonna do the stuff that we enjoy, but I feel like there's gonna be one guy out there who just takes this as permission to fully skip leg day because he heard, oh, well, do the things that you enjoy. I hated training legs at one point, so guess what? I just ignored most of the noise online, and then I did stuff that I could actually keep up with, like doing a machine squat pattern instead of those nasty free weight squats where I would feel discomfort from the bar on my back and having to take those awkward 3 steps after unracking the bar, trying to keep your balance during the movement, and not to mention the fear of just missing the rack on the way back when doing some heavy weight, when I literally could have just chilled out and used a machine squat pattern that makes it so much easier. And also, anyone who tells you that that's why a movement is worse or more pain, more gain has no idea what they're talking about. Because I want to be clear here, we will feel fatigue and discomfort from actually coming close to failure, and that's going to cause muscle growth, but not because the movement itself feels painful. And then this type of scenario is when it actually makes sense to use discipline or actually toughen it out because it's actually productive. Like, if I want to improve my quads, I should still do leg extensions even if it's not my favorite exercise in the world and it's a bit painful, because we're doing it for improvement, which is actually going to give you more progress. Unlike the point that I made earlier, which is like just switching up your exercises and the mindset of, oh, what's more optimal for those nitty-gritty reasons, and breaking your consistency comparatively to if you had just done a variation that you actually enjoyed. We're basically trying to optimize for the most sustainability while also making things optimal for our situation so that you can always stay on the system. Like, even on your bad days, it's doable. And you have the flexibility to be able to adjust all the time, because life can get in the way for everyone, which is why it makes sense to prioritize a system that we can always adhere to over what people say is quote unquote better, because it might not always be the case that it's better. And as a result, I really look forward to going to the gym almost every day. It doesn't take that long, it doesn't feel like torture, and while improving, it kind of feels like a video game. Like, as I get stronger and make progress to my physique, it's fun. And so I don't concern myself with if I should do what everyone is calling the newest best exercise, because I've come to understand it's really not that deep. I still like learning more about muscle building and improving my plan over time and science-based lifting, but fundamentals are always going to be fundamentals, and training close to failure with consistent stimulus is the biggest thing. If you really like bench press, do it. It's still a decent exercise. You can keep progressing in it Or if you prefer leg press over squats, do that. You're gonna make amazing progress over time regardless. And we're still gonna keep improving over the long run because yeah, we're gonna continue to find stuff that works better for us. So just do what you actually want to do and stick with it. I really hope you enjoyed my little rant here. Consider subscribing if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.